What is going on, guys? We are back with another DSP video. My god, we got a lot to go over today. So we start off with last night, actually, under Like a Dragon. Remember the story of Like a Dragon is just like Phil's story. It's made exactly like his life. They must have seen him, written the plot about him. Remember that whole speech? And then people got on him and he lashed out, telling them to give him their address so he can mail them a spoon to eat shit out of their ass. Well, guess what? A cult leader has been introduced into Like a Dragon, and Phil sees parallels. So we have this from Poe's Future. DSP talks about how he used to be called a cult leader back when he was big. Notice how he's trying to use the size as a factor to recuse himself today.
The thing about this is back in the day when I first was getting big on YouTube, so we're like maybe 2010, 2011, 2012-ish, those 3 years, there were people who actually there was accounts on YouTube called DSP Cult Leader, and they'd be like, yeah, don't you know that DSP is actually really indoctrinating young people into his cult of worshipers on YouTube and down the path of debauchery, and they're gonna just be committed to serving him their whole lives and sending him money and on gifts and views and, you know, like worshiping him. Like, yes, there's actually people who acted like that back in the day. Pretty insane. Now, when you think about it, when you think about how big like YouTubers have gotten, some of them actually have that kind of a following. When you really think about it, like they're completely infallible no matter what they do. I mean, they could freaking do completely immoral things. They could break laws, and their followers just blindly keep following them no matter what. And they probably, I'm not that they have followings where they can order people to murder someone. You know what I'm saying? But it's just pretty crazy how things have gotten. You know, back then, it was laughable. Everyone laughed at it. Like, what are you talking about, right? But today, it's just like wild how those followings have gotten, right? And they're not even trying to be like a religious cult or anything.
Still awake. You're no good.
That's really funny because I can't think of the person, but there was someone who committed tax fraud during a bankruptcy. You know, he's got over 200,000 subscribers. I wonder who I could be talking about. Then also yesterday, DSP went on a rant. So he talked about how Tekken 8 players are being banned for pulling the plug during matches. Then he went on to say LTG got banned as well. He was laughing about it and gloating all over that LTG got banned. And then went on a huge rant, calling people pussies and losers and this and that. So we have this video here, and let's let Phil tell us how he really feels, you know, so it's not out of context.
Holy shit, you are a bitch. And there is no way that anyone can dispute it. The moment that you do it and you pull that plug, and if you're doing it publicly, that's even worse. You just proved you have no fucking manhood whatsoever. You're a coward, you're a creep, you're a fucking loser. Don't fucking pull the plug on an online virtual game. You can't, I mean, wow. I can't fucking believe people would do that. You have to be like the lowest level of fucking manhood to do that.
So remember everything DSP just said about a person that pulls the plug on an online digital game.
Oh, gets all his health back. Fuck this. Watch this. You fucking loser. You wanna fucking cheat, huh? You wanna fucking cheat? Yeah, watch this. Fuck that. Fucking cheat again, dick face. Fucking stupid cheaters, man. You know what I mean? But that's my fault, and I'm gonna punish myself because my console's online. This game is fucking stupid as fuck. There, I beat him. I beat him. Yeah, I beat him. I did. I actually just beat him. Yup. Uh-huh. Because that's how you win. You outsmart him by fucking just cheating the stupid game. So dumb.
And then we've gotten to the point where DSP wants you to donate clothes to him. That is right, the guy who makes over $120,000 is so poor, in his own words, he needs you to donate clothes to him. So Poe's Future puts this out. Email him if you're interested in buying him clothes to wear. He will need to discuss it with you first. Yep, this is the state of this guy's content. Then DSP decided to open up the suggestion box, and one was about not asking for support as much and stop begging. So we have Rented Liar. He hates begging, but he's doing 10-minute segment of why it's necessary. Laughing my fucking ass off. And then we have this from Kramer II. So DSP went on about how he tracks how many times he asks for support, he tracks how bad they are as well, and he doesn't do it all the time.
Tried to get better at over the years. The difference here is this. I don't do it constantly. It doesn't matter what people say. I actually don't do it constantly, and I know for a fact because I've actually been tracking myself. I have. I've actually started tracking how often do I actually ask for support and how bad is it and things like that. And I can tell you this. Today is way less than what it used to be. Basically, this all started around that time because you brought up Scorn. It started around that time of that playthrough when I kind of had a reality check, when I had YouTubers who were watching that clip and calling me out and saying, wow, Phil's a scumbag. And I was like, you know what? They're right. I completely agree with them. When I watch back my...
Now keep in mind, he also said he can sue those YouTubers for defamation and slander. It'd be hilarious if DSP did sue someone and all they have to do is just point to this video, go, see? See? He said I was telling the truth. See? It wasn't slander. It wasn't defamation. Even though it would never go past the discovery phase. And we have Steve of the Bed here. I'm begging all of you to go to PigPigGo, type in the word support, and click the trend tab. Okay guys, we're gonna do it. We're gonna see what support brings up here. Holy shit. 36,817 results for support. Goddamn. Okay, let's see the trend. Wow, look at that. Look, what is going on here? Look at that. November 2021, 1,019 mentions of support in 1 month. Look at October 2022, 1,054 mentions of support. God damn. And then Nerd Brew puts this out. I started tracking when I asked for support. Phil wants to take your job, Gout Gout. And then Gout Gout. I had to stop the stream because I laughed so hard at that. Of course, if you don't know, Gout Gout breaks down how much time Phil spends on every subject. So if you notice near the bottom of his list here, 60 minutes, 68% of his pre-stream. DSP Business, begging and shoutouts, suggestion box. 60 minutes. And speaking of Gout Gout, we have him here. Did DSP just admit that his editors on DSP Throwback don't get paid? We knew, but it's coming from Phil.
Anyway. Alright, so OP Boone, I appreciate the suggestion. I don't think, sadly, I don't think that would work, only because, again, that's something that maybe if I could pay an employee to do it, it would work. I'm not going to have people stepping up to volunteer to do that kind of work, because it's a lot of work. They have to watch every podcast in full. They have to figure out what the segments are, edit them out, make them separate videos, put them up, promote them. You know, it's a lot of work for someone who's basically a volunteer. You know, the volunteer work on the DSP Throwback channel is already a huge, tremendous undertaking.
Then DSP was on his This Is How You Don't Play hate boner again. We are back to This Is How You Don't Play is bad because it misrepresents DSP since it's all out of context. But also make sure to call him out when he does something that's bad. Yeah, he wants people to call him out for doing stuff that's bad, but at the same time he says everything's out of context and people don't know what they're talking about. And then we get to DSP versus the internet. Phil was given a video explaining rollback netcode, but he's basically skipping it instead of watching it. Can't let your narrative be disproven. And then he went on about the Canon Brothers yet again and the forums and how he's a good guy and they're all scammers. We have poems here. DSP was banned from SRK for telling Tony Cannon how he was wrong about his netcode. They banned him to silence him because they wanted to sell it. No, Phil, you got banned because you started attacking people. Funny how you left that part out. DSP tried to parlay how he was banned from SRK and how he was always been a truth seeker and right, and how Tony Cannon being more successful than him in modern day proves that. This is what you call regret, children. All he has left is this stupid underdog persona. And we have Golem at the bottom. And he's an underdog people want to see utterly fail. And then his chat kept pushing back, telling him he's wrong, you're wrong, you need to tell the truth, you're just jealous. And DSP pushed back at them, calling them fucking morons. Don't know what you're talking about. And this is how DSP handles being wrong. Present him with the correct fact. Ignores it. Presents his own experience. The experience is now fact. You're wrong, and I just proved why. Then he went on to try to explain rollback netcode. DSP doesn't understand why we don't have anything better for netcode in modern day. Why do we only have two options? Games should be playing better online. Philip, netcode can't fix connections. It can only mask them. And then he started talking about predictive netcode and how it's wrong and they give you the wrong input. You know, how every single fighting game gives him the wrong input or dropped inputs and this or that. DSP thinks predictive netcode makes up everything being pressed. Spoilers, it doesn't. It attempts to predict what will be done next, so it has it ready to avoid delay. If it gets it wrong, that's when you encounter rollback, because it has to roll back to the actual input. And then I thought that was really funny. So this is from Just Jay, and it's Stallone and DSP making the same face. Of course, only thing that comes to my mind is, I am the law! And then he started talking about his furnace, and some really dumb stuff, more than usual, came out of his mouth. Phil's home has trap-in heat, and not meant to cool walls. Kind of like JP at the bottom. Today, Phil learns about insulation. And then he went on to say, Phil's furnace is too far from the vents to blow air throughout his whole house. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. We have Golem at the bottom. The furnace is connected to the vents to blow heated air through the house. Because that's how furnaces work, Phyllis. And then this person was immediately banned for this super chat. By the way, don't give him any money. Doesn't matter if it's a tip, super chat, membership. Just let him starve. You'll get more salt out of that. What is the difference between a homeless person begging for money and a streamer begging for money? Oh, Chill Murray at the bottom. What's the difference between giving Phil money to get his attention for an edgy comment or simply being a DSP fan? And then there is a whole thing about Phil talking about how teachers and students, it's okay for them to have relationships and get personal, which was a really weird conversation for him to have. I'm thinking something might have happened where he might have mentally blocked it out. Just saying. He did go to a Catholic school. The first time Phil tasted lobster was with his high-end math teacher who used to take his students out to dinners. Now keep in mind, the phrase here is who used to take his students out to dinner, as in the teacher was male. And then DSP said this, teachers taking students out to dinners and lunches isn't allowed today because there's so many instances of misuse of relationships. Philip wishes that wasn't the case because of the tea and lobster he had with his high-end math teacher from the private school he attended. And we got Steve of the Bed at the bottom. No, Phil, they aren't misuse of relationships. They are abuse of power and preying on children. Then DSP was crying and moaning and bitching and complaining that a heat wave was in Renton. And then we have Renton Liar, perfect name. He will lie about anything, and it shows 59 degrees in Renton. And this was the dumbest moment of the past month that I can think of. This is a quote from DSP about buffalo wings. So buffalo wings are named because Buffalo, New York, where they came from. So it's not named after the animal. I thought it was because of the buffalo animal. And Pastor Remote replies with, he does know buffaloes don't have actual wings, right? Which I reply with, he does now, LOL. So hope you guys like that. Click that like, share the video, leave a comment below, hit subscribe. Subscribe to my other channels on the details of the end cards. And as always, hope you're all safe, healthy, and happy. I love each and every one of you. Peace and love.